Hi folks, it's Mark here from AustralianMusicHistory.com, and I've got a real treat for you today, live in the studio, I suppose you'd call it, in the dining room. I've got my old friend Steve Mulry. Steve's currently playing with, I think we just discussed 9 different bands, but you'll know him from bands like Black Label, Ted Mulry Gang, Rockcake and so on, which we'll get into a little bit later. Welcome, Steve. Great to have you along.
Great to be here, Mark. I haven't been in the studio quite set up like this before. It's quite it's something to really look at and enjoy and be involved in.
It certainly is, and we also serve dinner in here
apparently
as well.
So. I think it's great. Yeah, catering,
yeah. So I'd like to go back a little ways, back to the beginning.
Yep.
I'm always interested in how people get started. Now, you were born in England, if that's correct?
Yes, correct.
What age did you come to Australia?
So I was 7 when I came here.
Yep.
I left home and came here on my own, and that would be a good story, wouldn't it?
It'd be a great story.
Came with my family in 1968.
Yep.
So I was turning 8 that year, and my brother had come prior to us, so it was just mum, dad, and myself.
Right. And at that age, obviously your brother's a little bit older than you.
13 years, yeah.
Had he had some success already with his music?
No. When we arrived in 1968, he had been writing songs, but hadn't sent them off to anybody for publishing or anything like that.
Yep.
That didn't happen until late 1969.
Right.
When he sent it off to Albert's.
Yep.
Yeah, so he was a nobody like me.
A nobody like you. As you'll notice, one of the things I love most about Steve and why we've been friends for a long time is got a nice sense of humour.
To some people.
To some people, that's right. Yeah.
Can't please everyone.
You can't, and we shouldn't even try.
No.
All right, that's great. So as an 8-year-old, well, at what age, sorry, I should ask, did you start to get involved in music or notice it at least?
Okay, I really started getting into bands probably mid-teens. It was when I first started listening to Led Zeppelin as an example.
Yep.
Was when I was 15, and I went to a couple of friends of mine, and I caught trains 3 days in the same week to go to Hoyt's in George Street in Sydney to see the Led Zeppelin movie.
Wow!
It was on, it was on every day, and we went 3 times in a row to go and see it. So I was really into that kind of stuff: Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple, Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. That's when I really started getting into music. Obviously, I noticed it when I was 9 and 10, because my brother had released songs by that stage. When I was 9, and. But me personally, I didn't start. I attempted to do a jam with a band when I was 17.
Right.
But I was actually too scared to sing in front of the band members. So when you can't do that, you can't sing in front of an audience either.
Yeah.
So I was a bit shy in those days, and it wasn't until I was 22 that I actually joined a band and started playing.
That intrigues me because it's something that's, I could go to jail for my singing, but playing and singing to me were 2 different things as far as being overcoming fear.
Yeah.
There's nothing to hide behind when you're singing.
That's what I'm thinking. Well, that's what I thought you were alluding to. Yeah, if you're just a singer,
yep.
Yes, you've only got the microphone stand or the mic in your hand.
Yeah.
And you're exposed.
Yes.
But if you've got a guitar in front of you, there's something else to just sort of separate you from
that's right.
everyone else there, You
can hide behind it a little bit.
But I wasn't I wasn't patient enough to learn an instrument. I did play a bit of bass, very little.
Yeah.
But I didn't I wasn't I'm probably not wired that way to want to play an instrument. I don't have a desire for it,
Yeah. But you obviously had a desire to, was it just to be involved in music? So singing was all that was left, or did you want to be a singer?
Yeah, I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to join a record company and work in a record label or anything like that. The only thing I wanted to do was sing. Yeah,
Great.
yeah. But as I said, I was a bit of a late starter, 22.
Yeah.
Which strangely is the same age that my brother released his first song that went to number one. That was Julia. He was 22.
Well, there you go.
And so, that's the interesting correlation between the two of us. We both started at 22, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah, wow. And that was number one, you said?
I believe Julia went to number one.
Yeah.
And I
Great
think,
song.
Yeah. I think so too. And not bad for your first release.
Yeah, absolutely. So we met. How's this for for diary retention?
Yeah.
12th of July, 1986.
Oh, I remember it well.
Yeah.
What happened?
You were in a band called Hyperactive.
Yep.
And you were supporting the band I was doing sound for, which was Bandana.
Bandana, right.
And
was that the first time we supported Bandana?
Absolutely, yeah. And I'll talk a little bit about this later and may or may not make it into this part of the interview. But that was through Steve Rondo's rehearsal studio, I take it. You were rehearsing there?
That's right.
And Steve was the manager of Bandana, which was the band I was doing sound for.
Yeah.
So he used to occasionally get bands from the rehearsal studio that he liked to come and do shows. And obviously there probably would have been no money involved, which was I
can't even remember, but yeah, it probably was. I mean, it's 40 years ago. So but it was a great opportunity because Bandana were playing often.
Yeah.
And it was good to get on stage at least, and we only had to do one set, 45 to an hour, and then you're done, and you can watch the other band,
Yeah, and it was a lot of fun. There was a good, I really enjoyed Hyperactive as a band.
Thanks.
A good bunch of people too.
Yeah.
Everyone had fun.
Yes.
I remember going to various people's houses after parties and that sort of thing. So it was a social event
it was a good
as
time.
well.
Yeah.
Something happened around about that era where pubs went to 3 a.m. closing, and that shut down a lot of because we were still on stage at 2 o'clock and packing up and going home at 3 and 4.
Yeah.
You didn't feel like going to someone's house for a party afterwards.
It's hard to believe now, isn't it, these days? I mean, some nightclubs are still open, but I mean, bands don't start. Bands didn't start till midnight.
Yeah.
It was a midnight start.
Yeah.
And there was a couple of bands on, it's unheard of now.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. Well, see, a lot of us still had day jobs in those times too. So a 12 o'clock close meant the band was off by 11:30, say. DJ did the last half hour. You packed up, you were home. It was,
reasonable.
1:30.
Yeah.
You could still get up and go to work the next day.
That's right.
When it became getting home at 4:30,
not fun.
That was a struggle sometimes.
Yeah.
Boss wasn't always happy with my attendance. So fast forward a few years, I got to do sound with quite a few bands you were involved with.
Yeah.
Well, like M16s.
Yeah, I always preferred to use you, Mark, utilise you for sound because you were so cheap.
That's it. Still am.
Yeah. No, you were one of the best sound engineers I knew at the time I'd ever heard. So
thank you very much. Yeah.
You had to get the job.
Yeah. And I always enjoyed the stuff you were doing. As I said, bands like M16, Dead Man's Hand.
Stoker. Did you ever do Stoker?
I did one or two. Not a lot.
Yeah.
And then we got to the Black Label sort of era.
Yeah.
Which lasted a long time. How long were you in Black Label?
I was in Black Label for 19 years.
Yep.
To the month, actually. I joined in July of 1997.
Yep.
And I sort of left in June of 2006. 2016. Yeah, it was 19 years. Yeah, but that was a great band. I really enjoyed being in the band,
Yeah, it was. I enjoyed it too. It was really good original music.
Yeah, and everybody who came through were good musicians.
Absolutely.
If anybody got replaced, another great muso came in.
Yeah, and there were some brilliant lineups. Some good, obviously, yourself and George, and to a large extent Laurie, with the mainstays.
Yeah.
And guitarists swapped a little bit, but again, like you say, always brilliant.
Yeah.
And I love a band that's got two lead guitarists.
Yeah, I do too.
You know, bands. I love Thin Lizzy and
My
that
favourite
sort of
band,
thing.
Thin Lizzy. I'll even like Iron Maiden's twin guitar stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of southern rock that has twin guitar
Yes.
stuff as well, and love that kind of thing.
Doobie Brothers and
Yeah.
those sorts of things. So yeah, it was always a good fun band to work with, and I was lucky enough that a lot of the gigs I did with you were supports for other acts.
Yeah.
So we got to see some good bands along the way.
True. And I also noticed with a lot of the bands that we supported, whenever you walked in to the sound engineer, like we'd say, oh, we've got our own sound guy coming in, to go, oh yeah. And then you'd walk in, they go, hey Mark, how you going? So, you know what I mean? You knew a lot of people too, which helped our situation when you were going to be doing the sound.
Yeah, that's funny you say that, because one of the first shows I did with you, that exact thing happened. I walked in and either yourself or George said, I'm not sure they're going to let you touch anything.
Yeah, yeah.
And I turned around and it was Frank Karastigian on the desk, who I knew really well, and away we went. So, yeah, it was a bonus for both of us, I suppose. Yeah, didn't get to drive all the way in there and then do nothing.
Yeah.
Black Label had numerous albums they released.
Yeah, we released 4 studio albums.
Yep.
And 2 lives.
Yep.
So I think it was also a thing that came out on a Live to Ride magazine. They released a thing as well with a bunch of songs of ours on this disc that was connected to it. It was actually stuck on the back of the magazine, or in the first cover. I can't remember. And so yeah, we had 4 studio albums, and all a bit different from each other. The first one was very southern, very American southern, very Lynyrd Skynyrd-ish.
Yep.
The second one was more of a rock album. The first one was called The Dealer, and the second one was just a little bit rocky. It was that was called Lawless, and it was just more of a rock and roll straight rock album.
Yep.
The third one was a more of an EP. It only had 7 tracks on it, but it also had a DVD component as well, and that was called 7 Deadly Sins. And then the last one that we released was Blood Money, that was called.
Right.
Yeah.
And you had a variety of the band members writing?
Yeah, well, that was a lucky thing too. Everybody was basically a writer. George on drums, Geordie Muscat, he great lyricist, really good lyrics.
Yep.
Kevin Pratt, he great songs, like musical, very musical, and lyrics good too. Laurie Marlowe, great lyrics. Ross Flynn, when he came in, good riff writer.
Yep.
Yeah, we were really fortunate. I mean, I wrote lyrics as well, so we're all writers basically, which really helped from different angles. That we, you know, we all had our own influences, and we were able to mesh that together to make our own thing. You know.
Yeah, it's unusual to have that many active writers in a band, but it's refreshing because, as you say, you get some variety and also interaction between the writers.
Yeah. I think that helped with the longevity. I mean, okay, it didn't last as long as the Rolling Stones, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It.
Hey, look, 20 years is a long time.
Yeah. And the band went a little bit longer after I left.
Yep.
And it was going a little bit before I joined. You know what I mean, like.
Yeah.
But yeah, those particular years of those albums were very fruitful. Yeah.
Okay, so you left in 2006?
16, sorry. Yeah.
2016.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So I started in 97 till 2016 in June. I left. I think the last gig I did with Black Label was at Wallachia.
Okay.
I think it was Wallachia.
What was the next
I
act
just
from
started several months before that. I'd started recording with a band called Phantom, or Phantom Mark V. It was the 5th incarnation of that band with Chris Brockbank.
Yep.
And of course, he was a prolific writer. He had a lot of songs, and so I'd started doing some stuff with him, recording, and we started getting some live shows as well, and that was going on for a period as well during the Black Label thing. But it was really 2016 also when TMG reformed.
Right.
So everything sort of fell into place.
Yeah.
Leaving one and going into another.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was asked in early, probably around about February or March 2016 by Herman Kovac from Ted Mulry Gang, rang me up and said, "Look, we're thinking of maybe putting the band back." I said, "Yep, I'm in." And there was silence on the other end of the phone, and I thought, oh, maybe he wasn't going to ask me, And I said, "Have I jumped the gun there?" He said, "Oh no, we're going to ask you. There's nobody else who we could get to do it, But you're okay with that?" I said, "Yeah, absolutely." So then we had to pick a bass player, obviously, because I don't play bass, and Ted did.
Yeah.
So that's when we asked Mark Evans, and he said, "Yeah."
Great.
So he lasted about close to 18 months with us before Angry came and got him.
Yeah, right. Exactly. He's back with Rose Tattoo.
Yeah.
They're doing a sort of last hurrah at the moment.
Correct. Yeah. They played last weekend at the Bridge. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was Angry had called him, and so he rang Mark rang Herm and said, "Look, Angry has asked me," and Rose Tattoo was his favourite band, So and Herm just said, "Yeah, sure, absolutely, go,"
Yeah.
So then we got Tony Mitchell in the band from Sherbet.
From Sherbet, yeah.
And he'd been with us ever since so far. Yeah.
Brilliant. If I could just step back, and we'll come back to TMG in a sec. I wanted to ask about the band Bitzer.
Yeah.
Which was basically just a studio project. Is that right? Did they do any live stuff?
One show.
Yeah.
So
tell me how did that come about? Because it just seemed to come out of the blue.
Okay, so there was a gentleman. Am I allowed to say his name? That's the thing, because he likes to stay incognito.
We can leave him out.
He came to us. When I say us, he came to Lucy DeSoto, who was in Pete Wells's band.
Yep.
And Lucy DeSoto had her own band as well. Lucy DeSoto and the Handsome Devils. He came to her and said, I want to do a project where I get some musicians in to do some Aussie stuff, some remake some Aussie songs, So she said, yeah. So her bass player was included in that, and they were looking around for a few different singers. So Skeeny was one of them.
That's right.
He was on a project. Lucy sang a song herself. Steve Edmonds came in as guitar player, and he sang one of the songs as well.
Yep.
At least one. And I sang about 3 on the CD, on the album. So I was asked, "Yeah, you want to do it?" I said, "Yeah, sure." We're all paid to do it, and which was nice. We all got a fee to get to do it.
Lovely.
And so we picked these songs, and there was a list of songs, and we were allowed to pick the songs that we all agreed on.
Yep.
So we picked 6 songs, and the first, because we did two albums, and one was called Aussie Six Pack.
Yep.
Even though there was a 7th track on there as a bonus track, there was that, and then later on we did do a second one, which was another bunch of songs. I sang on that one, and I can't even think whoever else. But then the band members for that one were Rose Carlio's band. Like her husband became the guitar player, and we also had Mick Arnold on the first one, who was in Rose Tattoo, from Black Label to Rose Tattoo. Steve King was on both albums, and Mick O'Shea played drums on both.
Right.
So turned out really well. Both of them turned out really well, both albums. And it was an EP, 6 songs. So it was really enjoyable. We thought, yeah, we should do a show. So we did a show at what's now called the Crowbar. At the time, it was the Bald-Faced Stag.
That's right.
In the back room, and we had a good crowd. But we only did one show, so we did that one album, because that was the only one out at the time, the first album, and a bunch of other covers, that we put together for the night. Yeah, it was good.
It was good. Both of the albums or EPs I've listened to numerous times. It's well recorded. The arrangements are great. They're not just simple covers.
Yeah.
They've actually put some thought into it.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
he picked good songs.
Yeah.
And I'm really impressed with the whole thing.
Yeah.
I'm a little intrigued. And again, if the gentleman wants to be anonymous, we certainly won't identify him. But was it something he just did out of the goodness of his heart, or was there ulterior motives to try and get a band up?
No, I think he just. I mean, what his motives were, I don't know. But he was great to talk to. He used to come and watch me play in Black Label.
Yeah.
Every now and again, I'd see him in the middle of the crowd. He'd just stand there, no one else around him. He'd be on his own, and he'd leave before he finished, so we wouldn't go and talk to him. Like I'm not that we wouldn't go and talk to him. I think he just didn't want any fuss, so he'd leave just before we finished.
Yeah.
And he'd come to another show. We'd be on already, and he'd come into the crowd, and I'd see him, and then he'd go again. And he was a musician himself, and he travelled a lot between the US and Australia and Canada and stuff like that. But yeah, he was a very good musician. Yeah, I think he just wanted to. I think he just liked all the people that were in the band. He liked the bands that they'd been in, every one of them, because when a name was put forward, he had to go past him first, and he'd go yes, definitely, that kind of thing. So he would have lost money. There was no doubt, because he paid for the studio, he paid us all to do the recordings, and then there's a couple of hundred sales of each.
Yeah, which is the way of the world these days.
Yeah, he would have lost money, but I don't think that was an issue. I think he just wanted to do this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And look, I'll edit in some bits and pieces of Bitzer.
Yep. Thank you.
And all the other bands we've been talking about. But it's well worth looking up. It really is. It's just well done.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing just about this guy, he had another project called Thunderbird, and it was musicians from Canada and Australia, and I was asked to do that as well. So I did 3 songs on that.
Wow.
I'll have to get them over to you.
I haven't heard that one.
Yeah, it's very obscure. And again, it had Mick O'Shea, I think, on it, and it had Steve King again, myself. It had musicians from Canada, lead singers from Canada and stuff. And that was good too. He wrote the song system, the songs that he'd written.
Yeah.
And then the last thing that we did together, again, Mick O'Shea, Steve King, Mick Adkins from Rose Carlio's band. It was a cover this time again, AC/DC's Sin City.
Right, okay.
And have you heard that one at all?
No.
Okay, I have to get that one over to you as well.
Yeah.
And that was under the name The New Colonials. Now, I think there may have been another band years ago called The New Colonials, but yeah, so that one was the only place you can find that is it Vimeo or
yep.
I think it's on there, something like that, and it's under The New Colonials.
Good band for that type of stuff. I was going to say with Steve King and Mick O'Shea would have been loud.
Oh yeah, definitely loud. Mick Adkins is no. He's pretty full on as well, guitar wise.
Yeah.
So I've done a few things that were obscure or there and gone. You know what I mean? And because of this same gentleman who wanted to finance something,
Good on him.
Yeah.
What a great thing to do. All right, getting back to TMG after that little, Bitzer is one that I've really wanted to know more about.
Yeah.
So, so TMG's been bubbling along since 2016, you said?
Yeah. We did most of our reunion, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
of their reunion with me.
Yeah.
I can't say it's my reunion, but most of the gigs were 2016, 2017. We did it quite a lot with Melbourne, Brisbane.
Yep.
You know, we did a lot of shows.
Yeah.
And then it tapered off. And it wasn't long after that, actually, when we hit
The dreaded COVID.
the dreaded COVID. Yeah, so that sort of stopped, and we just let it go for a while. You know, the guys are older gentlemen, and you don't want to be out and about if people are getting sick or that
Exactly
kind of thing.
right. Yeah.
So we let it go for a while. Then we started again a couple of years ago. We did a gig. We did a gig at the Bridge Hotel in Rozelle, and then down at a festival in Melbourne called the One Stock Festival.
Yep.
And that was 2020 we first did that. The week that nobody was allowed to fly from one state to another. We just got back into New South Wales.
Wow.
And when COVID started, and we played down there with it was Hush, but they were called Get Rocked, and then we did that festival 2 more times. So we did it last year in 2025, and we did it in 2024.
Right.
So we've been doing bits and pieces. You know, we did the Rock the Boat cruise last year.
How was that?
Great. It was only the 3-day event. So it was part 1 and part 2.
Yeah.
We were on the part 2, and we did 2 shows in 3 days. I really liked it. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I look at those things and I think, that looks like a pretty good damn party.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. And a new album, or newish, new for TMG.
Yeah. There's actually 2, right? And which
there you go.
I'll let you have a copy of both, Mark.
That'd be absolutely wonderful.
Because you did have a hand in doing the album cover.
Yeah.
So we should give you a copy, shouldn't we? So we'll go with the one that are all brand new songs, right?
Yep.
Well, both albums are brand new songs because neither of them have been neither album has been released before. But one's old, one's new.
Yep.
So the new album, which is called "It Is What It Is, Rock On,"
Yep.
was all the songs were written by Les Hall, the guitarist, and it sounds what you would probably expect TMG to sound like years on.
Yes. Yeah. Which is good. They haven't tried to.
Yeah.
They're
not
stop
copying the
1989 or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I sang on that album. It's I think it turned out great myself.
Yeah,
I really
it is. It is very good.
So that whilst we were recording all that, Herm was bit of a long story. Okay, so Herm has all these old cassettes. I know people don't know what cassettes are these days, but cassettes in a box still, and he's got really good tape decks in his studio, recording studio, Ramrod.
Yep.
And so he was getting tapes out and looking at, that all had something written on them. He looked at this tape and thought, what's that? So he took it to the studio, and it was an album they recorded in 1982, 83, that all the master tapes had been lost.
Oh, wow.
And obviously when you lose your master tapes, you can't do anything. You need that for mixing, right? And so these were run off. There was 2 cassettes run off. One went to Herm, one went to Ron Clayton, who was the famous TMG roadie.
Yes.
Herm going, unbelievable, and out of, I think there might have been 12 songs on it or something, but one of them was so damaged, So what he did, the Beatles, well, we know the Beatles aren't together anymore, but a song was released that was recorded by the Beatles around about that time that came out, and you would swear it was recorded yesterday.
Yes.
Right. So what they had done, it was an AI package that mixes old recordings, and So he bought the app or whatever it is that you put in your system.
Yep.
And what he did was he took all the vocal, so he put the tape in, put it on file in his computer, right, from the cassette. Then the AI program removed all the vocals, put them aside. He remixed the whole album in the AI, because you don't need to do separate tracks. Then he mixed the vocals so they were all at the right level. Then put the vocals back into the album, remixed the album again with the vocals in, and then mastered it.
Wow.
That album came out at the same time as the new one we recorded.
Wow.
Now, that album is called Power Hungry.
Yep.
And it sounds as good, if not better, quality than the new album.
Wow.
That was through AI. And
That's
Herman, of course,
incredible.
knowing what he was doing.
Absolutely. Herm's a very, very accomplished engineer and producer.
Yeah. So that turned out good too.
Yeah. That's fantastic. So is there much in the way of gigs upcoming for TMG at the moment?
Well, I suggested about a month ago to the boys that this year it's 25 years since Ted passed.
Wow, it is too, yeah.
And we should probably try and do something for the 25th anniversary. So that's what we're looking at doing. Where we're going to do that, I don't know. And it'll be around September because that's when he passed. And it's his birthday as well, that's in September. But it's also this year 50 years since Jump in My Car went to number one. So there's a lot.
It makes me feel old still.
Yeah, there's a lot to celebrate
this
year. And so that's what we're looking at, trying to do something towards the end of the year.
Excellent.
For that. Hopefully we can get that done.
I'll make sure I get along to that.
Yeah. I might even let you come in. And
front door or back door?
Well, we'll work it out. And yes, then the next thing that we do have lined up is January 2027. There's a 6-day cruise going to somewhere. I can't think exactly where, but we're on this 6-day cruise, and I think the it's not a rock the boat, it's Southern Sounds, I think it's called.
Right.
And so it's not just rock, so other bands, other types of music on. There'll be, both types of music, rock and roll.
Yes.
And so we've got some country and stuff like that. But yeah, we're looking forward to that in early 27. That's as far as we're going so far. As I said, the guys are all getting older. They're going to want to retire at some stage.
Yes. Yeah. But you or not.
Yeah.
Performers like to perform. It's one of those things where some people just, I'll retire when I'm dead.
Yeah.
You know?
And the good thing about the boys, they're in good shape.
Yeah.
Les has always been fit all his life.
Yeah.
And he's the old man of the band now, the old statesman.
Right.
Because Ted used to be.
Yeah.
And Les and Herm, they're both in good condition. And, we've got Mark Tinson in the band now from Rabbit.
Yeah.
Again, because he was in the band in the 90s.
He was.
So he's good too. Just had his birthday last week. His birthday bash up in Newcastle last week.
I saw some of that online.
Did you? I missed it.
72, I think.
Yes, I think he's 72.
Yeah.
So the good thing about being in this band, I'm the youngest.
Brilliant.
But so it's I hope they keep going because I think it's a great legacy of music. That they're a part of, and
undeniably.
I'd love it to keep going for them.
Yeah, brilliant. Now we were chatting just briefly before we started, and you mentioned that at the moment you're in 9 different bands.
Yes,
is that right?
That's correct.
Obviously, TMG being one of them.
Being one of them.
Lawless Breed, which you're wearing the shirt. You can get those online at lawlessbreed.com.au.
Yeah, just .com.
.com, sorry.
Lawlessbreed.com.
I should know that.
Yeah. Or you can contact Lawless Breed on Facebook and we'll send the T-shirt out to you.
We'll send the T-shirt
out.
You
pay rather large sums of money.
Yeah, exorbitant fee. Yeah. We've got Rockcake.
Yes,
with
Rick Lum.
Rick Lum from Hush.
Yeah.
How's that one doing?
Great. I mean, that's the one that works the most. That's the one that I get the most gigs through.
Yeah.
And which is it's a fun band, classic rock, Yeah. It's a fun band. Obviously not all these bands work all the time.
Yeah.
So TMG doesn't work all the time. Rockcake does. Lawless Breed 4 to 5 times a year. Not much, but that's my original band. So it's songs that I write as well as the other guys in the band. Plus we do some covers as well. Then there is There's a John English band called The Rock Show Oz Edition. We're going to do 2 more shows, and that's the end of that. So this
I've been fortunate enough to see that show, and it is brilliant.
Thank you. And that's next month. So what we're doing at the Bridge Hotel, I think it's the 27th of March. We've got to check on that. I think it is. Playing the Bridge Hotel and doing a new show for that one night only, which is all John English stuff from all his previous shows. Like we're doing stuff from Jesus Christ Superstar. We're doing stuff from Pirates of Penzance, Paris, and other songs of John's.
Yep.
So we're doing all that. A few different musicians are coming in. Peter Couples is coming in as well.
Oh, great.
From Stylus. So he'll be doing some songs. I'll be doing some songs, and there's great musicians again on stage. That's the first night. The next afternoon, we're doing a different show to that. It's the Rock Show conglomerate of because there's 4 different rock shows. Rock Show More, Rock Show Trilogy, and we did the Rock Show Oz Edition. So it's bits and pieces from each of those shows. We'll be on the Sunday afternoon, Harbour Cruise, Sydney Harbour Cruise, from 1 till 5. So that's coming up. So after that'll be, it might be shelved for a period or shelved definitely.
Yeah.
I don't know. But just 2 more shows coming up for that. The other ones are, okay, so there's 2 bands I'm in Queensland. One's called the Understudy Band. It's a brand new one we haven't played yet, but we're about to, this year we start in June. Tours have been lined up for that, mainly Queensland at the moment. And it's all people who have been in John Paul Young and the All-Stars, or in the All-Stars band, whether it was Stevie Wright or whether it was John Paul Young. So all members who had passed through that band at some stage are coming in to play on that.
Wow.
The Understudy Band. We're doing all John Paul Young stuff, all Vander and Young, that kind of thing.
Yep.
The other band, Queensland as well, same keyboard player and myself are in the 2 bands. That one's called the Masters of Pop. Masters of Pop have been around for a while. Used to have James Blundell in it.
Yep.
It was sort of a door of different musicians coming in and out all the time. We had Robbie James from Gang was in the band.
Yep.
Tony Mitchell was in the band for a bit. We had Greg Henson from John English's band, Foster Brothers, was in for a while. Then we got John Carson from 1927 playing drums. We got Rex Go came in, from Air Supply,
and
QED, that's right. Then when he couldn't do any more gigs, we got Brett Williams from Choir Boys. He was there, and then I think we got Tim Gaze this time. Anyway, there's been that many musicians. Buzz Bidstrup came in, and then he couldn't do it because he got the book launch. So he's gone back out, and we've got the guy from Men at Work. So he's coming in to play drums. So that's another band. So those 2 that will be touring later this year.
Wow.
And I'm in a band called the Concert for George. And the Concert for George is the George Harrison concert that was first done in 2001 or 2002. George died in 2001, didn't he? I think.
I don't know exactly.
Anyway, so a year after he died is when the concert came out, the Concert for George. It was all George Harrison songs, whether it was in the Beatles or solo or whatever. And so we reenact that.
Wow.
That show. It's 11-piece band. So it's that's a big thing. So there's more things coming up with that this year as well. There's so much stuff coming up, Another one I'm in at the moment is I'm filling in for this one. This is number 9. Filling in for this one. This is the Road Warriors.
Oh yeah, yep.
With Dennis Val.
Yes.
And
my old pal Frankie Valentine.
That Frankie's in it. Yeah, Mick O'Shea on drums again. Bass player Mick Carter, who plays in Lawless Breed as well.
Yep.
So that's another classic rock band, but different material than say Rockcake.
Yep.
It's Doobie Brothers and, you know, I can't even think of it. I've got so many songs in my head. I can't even think which band does which. But, you know, that's a really good band. I really enjoy that band. But I'm money filling until the new vocalist
Right.
comes in. I'm helping him out. So, yeah, it's great. I'm busy.
Well, it's good to be busy. And as, again, we were chatting earlier, excuse me, it's become a real thing now that a lot of people are in multiple bands just to, I suppose, to keep busy. It's incredible.
It's
how
something
many-
you love to do, so you want to do more of it.
Well, that's what I was saying before about performers like to perform.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they're going to find a way to make this happen. And at the moment, the way is lots of different bands.
Yeah.
And it gives you, I suppose, good variety.
It's good variety. In fact, I'm doing songs I never thought I'd ever do.
Yeah.
I'm doing songs I didn't ever want to do. Funnily enough, when you start doing them, you go, these aren't bad.
Yeah, right.
You know, it's really, it's interesting. And it doesn't matter whether they're cover bands, original bands, tribute bands. The musician wants to get out there and do something.
Yes.
You know, and you don't get much chance. It's not like it used to be. Original bands don't play so much, and you never get paid much for being an original band. You get paid more for being a cover band.
Yeah.
You know, and you want it to be worth your while. You know, you spend 20, 30, 40 years playing your instrument
Yeah.
and learning your craft, and to get nothing because you're in an original band.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. It does make it hard.
so people want to get a little bit of money back and to cover their fuel, to cover, you know, a couple of drinks or whatever they get. You know,
Yeah.
Instead of just playing there for the love of it and then your own songs and leaving again, you know, and nobody thinking about you again. But if you're in a cover band, people go, oh, they were really good, I'll go back, because you're playing the songs that they like, you know, that they know.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
And you are right. There's lots of people doing it.
There is. It's become a real thing amongst, and this is not to piss in people's pockets, but amongst the good musicians.
Mm.
You know what I mean? It's become a thing now.
Yeah.
And to an extent, you need to be a good musician to be able to do that.
I agree.
To swap roles and
Styles.
to not just sit with something you've been doing for 30 years. You're now outside your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And you're playing stuff, like you said, that at one stage you might not want to have played.
Yeah, exactly.
But you have a new appreciation for it now.
I never even dreamed of. I mean, in the rock show, I was singing Russell Morris, and I'd never even thought of doing Russell Morris before.
Yeah.
I do Bee Gees.
Yes.
You know, I mean, things I never would have put on a list to say, gee, I want to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's good doing these different things, and in a way being forced to do certain songs that you didn't want to, and you know, and saying, all right, I'll just let it go. Yes, I'll do it. And then realizing what a good song that it really is.
Yeah. Yeah. And Russell Morris, you mentioned too, another one.
Yeah.
Just got some incredible songs when you go digging.
Yeah.
But he was probably a little bit before our time.
Only slightly. But, you know, like, but I mean, having said that, he's still been releasing stuff recently.
Exactly. He's only just retired.
Yeah. But great stuff. And he had a good voice too.
Oh, brilliant.
Russell had a great voice.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's, again, things that I never thought I'd do. I never thought I'd sing in excess, but I'm singing in excess, you know. There's just a bunch of things that I've done that I would never have put on a list.
Yeah.
On a bucket list.
Yeah. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. All right, Steve, we might conclude there.
Yep.
Is there anything else you want to add?
Well, the other 9 episodes that we're going to do,
yes,
we can, you know, make it into a series.
We certainly will.
Yeah, yeah. Because so far I'm only up to when I was 8 when I arrived. So
we haven't got to 9 yet. And funny you should mention that. I was going to talk to you about doing a 9-part series. Yeah. So look, I really appreciate you coming over.
Yep.
And sitting in the dining room studio.
No, it's terrific. Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate it. the risk of pissing in your pocket. I've admired your talent for a very long time, which is part of the reason we've stayed friends and part of the reason I always enjoyed mixing your bands.
Thank you.
Always. Yeah. Never had a dud night, ever. Great. Thank you very much, Steve.
Thank you, Mark.
And I will catch you again very shortly.
Yep.